Hi everyone, so today I'll be doing a review on the Elton John by Slatkin and Co. 14-ounce 3-wick candle in the scent Merry Marmalade. Currently these are sold on QVC. Right now they're around $40 or so. The QVC retail price is listed at $50. However, I purchased mine on Black Friday for around, I believe $37, but I think I had a coupon. So anyways, the pour date of my particular candle lists August 26, 2024. On QVC, there's some information. So the fragrance notes list a blend of red raspberry, orange peel, sliced apple, and vanilla sugar. The burn time of this 3-wick candle is approximately 20 to 40 hours. And the packaging features colored glass vessels with embossed piano key patterns, gold tone middle lid with Elton John's signature star logo. So each candle weighs approximately 2.25 pounds, and these candles are made in Vietnam. The fragrance story reads, a family tradition at Woodside, delicious garden fruits are transformed into Merry Marmalade. Ripe red raspberries and orange peel are blended with sliced apple and vanilla sugar and are then slowly simmered into a sweet, delightful treat. From Elton John by Slatkin and Co. So what do I think about this candle? I really enjoy the beautiful glass vessel. I love that, especially when you'll see later on, it creates almost this luminary, like a very pretty red glow. Perfect for the holidays, again, because it's red. So I would have liked the wax to have been colored as well. However, it just has that like plain white wax that Slatkin and Co. or homeworx normally uses. So I personally believe that the lid still feels cheap, even though it has the E logo from Elton John. But what do I think about the fragrance of this candle? I would classify this primarily as a fruity candle with citrusy hints from the orange peel without it being too sickeningly sweet. And I feel like I'm kind of somewhere in Europe. I'm guessing like an English home while someone's cooking in the kitchen. I also like that the addition of apple adds like a fresh, crisp scent to this fruity fragrance. So instead of it being like a sweet fruity fragrance or fruity floral, I would say it's fresh fruity. I mainly get the fresh, again, from the sweetened apple with a little hint of vanilla, but the vanilla isn't, I guess, a dominant note. It's more of a complementary note. Thankfully, I don't get the bitter orange peel fragrance that I was expecting. Instead, I get a sweet orange note, but not as far as to say like grocery store orange juice. It's definitely not that. I also want to make a note that I feel in my soul that there's a spice note in here that is not listed. If I had to put money on it, I'd probably say it is cinnamon. And I think which type of cinnamon, I think it leans a little bit more red hot than that gourmand baking cinnamon. In my opinion, I feel like this doesn't smell exactly like marmalade, but then again, I haven't had marmalade in probably years. I normally eat jellies, jams, preserves, and it's not that like traditional, let's say Smucker's jam, jelly, preserves that you would find at the grocery store. If anything, this fragrance or Merry Marmalade from Slatkin and Co. smells more like a holiday drink. That was what I initially thought of when I first smelled the candle as I was unboxing it. It almost smells like mulled spices mixed in with like an apple raspberry fruit punch. So to me, it smells more liquid than solid. Then again, I also don't have much experience with marmalade. Jelly, yes, strawberry jelly to be exact, but anything else, I'm kind of a newbie to it. Also, to my nose, I would say that the fruits smell more fresh than cooked. Here is an overhead view of how the candle looks like. If you can see, I'm in the last maybe like 10 to 15% of the candle, and I do have some thoughts. But first, let's go to the strength on cold. I would give this a solid 6 out of 10. While burning, I would say it's anywhere from like a 6 to, if I'm being generous, a 7. One thing to note is that the scent doesn't linger too much after you extinguish it. In terms of throw, I would say that this fills up the medium-sized bedroom that I'm burning it in, but it doesn't travel much, so it pretty much stays in here. So I'd give the throw maybe a 6 out of 10. But the con, or the negative parts about this candle, is that this candle experienced some serious pulling issues. It took the first maybe like 2 burns, especially the first 50% of the candle, and the first burn, it took over like 4 or 5 hours for this to fully pull out. Towards the end, I didn't want to continuously keep this burning for 4+ hours, so I put this in my smaller hurricane. And while that did help, the previous times that I didn't use the hurricane, because I was leaving it burning for so long, I did experience mushrooming at the wicks, and then some of them did fall into the wax. I was trimming them, but I couldn't trim them too low because that would also not do good things for my pool time, so I'd have to leave it burning for longer. So it was this balance of trying to trim my wigs, not get mushroom tops, but yet somehow make this candle fully pull out. So I think that's the main issue, besides the mushroom tops forming specifically during the first half of the candle. So I would say the scent while burning is pretty similar to the scent on cold, maybe with a little bit less of those spice notes that aren't listed. I still believe that while burning, the main note that I detect is the apple. I feel like if anything, the raspberry note becomes less prominent, and I still get the sweetness from the vanilla. However, it's just more mellowed out. Overall, I feel like the strength of this candle is mainly on the packaging. This colored glass looks very beautiful, especially when lit in a darker room. Plus, it's red, so it just adds to that festive feel of the holidays because of course, you have that green and red traditional Christmas color scheme going on. But anyways, in terms of the candle itself, this just gave me a headache in order for it to fully pull out. I did a few times get my smaller hurricane and put it over this candle just to really help pull out or like fully liquefy the wax, because if not, I would have had a lot of cling on the sides. You might have noticed that I didn't, but I mainly think that's because of the hurricane I had it in. Otherwise, there would be a lot more on the sides. Another thing is that I feel like these wicks did have a tendency to drift a little bit. I think it's because I had it burning for so long, because it needed to fully pull out or else I would have experienced tunneling, that the wick itself couldn't really sustain the carbon ball that was falling. So what I had to do is I would have to, while it was burning, or no, I would have to extinguish the flame, trim it, and immediately light it, which I don't like doing that. I just like letting it run its course. But if you're the type of person that likes to trim your wicks and then immediately light that same fragrance, then that might not bother you as much. But in terms of the scent itself, I feel like I could honestly potentially find this somewhere else by another candle company. And I think the cost of this candle, plus the fact that you have to purchase it in a dual pack, plus the fact that it's only a 3-wick, I feel like it's just not one that I would repurchase. However, I feel like the strength and throw of this candle is adequate for most people. Maybe not for myself, but I think it is detectable. I wouldn't put it in an open concept, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that it is scentless. One thing that I want to make a note about these Slatkin and Co candles that I don't think I previously mentioned is that if you extinguish the flame by blowing it out, you will get a lot of soot, which is something that I've noticed burning my other homeworx candles, scentworx candles, and whatnot. So what I like to do is I personally don't like to dip my wicks, because especially if your wicks are fragile, that's a perfect way to lose your wick. But I just do that swish method, and what I do is that I get the liquefied wax pull and I kind of lean it or tip it towards the lit flame, and it kind of recoats that wick in order to strengthen it. At least in my opinion, I think that's what happens. So yeah, that's one thing to make a note. I don't do what I think Harry Slatkin recommends on the QVC lives, that you just extinguish it by putting the lid on top. I feel like that traps that soot in the liquefied wax pool, and I feel like that changes the scent. But anyways, that has been my experience and review on this 3-wick, 14-ounce Elton John by Slatkin & Co candle in the scent Merry Marmalade. Overall, would I recommend it? I would probably say no, just because you have to purchase it on QVC. It's expensive. It's in a duo pack, and there have been not so great reviews. I personally think that it's just okay, but for the price, I probably wouldn't purchase it. If I had to say what I would pay for this candle, so I would say I'd only pay maybe about $8 to $12 for this candle. More than that, and I feel like that's just pushing it, with especially the horrible burn performance that I got for the first 50% of the candle. I mean, I'm glad it's not unscented, but yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.